Hello, I wanted to show you a tool that's useful for ECS maintenance work. It is called ecs-tank. The ecs-tank tool allows you to essentially drain Docker containers or ECS tasks off an instance or a group of instances. The command works like this. There's the ecs-tank drain command, and then it takes in a variety of different inputs, either instance ID, a spot fleet ID, or autoscaling group ID. And then the opposite command of that is the fill command. This command just does the exact opposite of draining. It will allow Docker containers or ECS tasks to be placed again on either the instance or that group of instances. There's also some informational list and info command that helps you get some feedback. Here are some examples in the README of the drain command using instance ID, using a spot fleet, and using autoscaling group. Then here are examples of the fill command, which does the exact opposite. And there's an example of list command. Now I want to give you a demo of this tool. To give you this demo, I set up actually some infrastructure. So let me explain the infrastructure that's been set up. There are two ECS spot instances here. They are registered to a development ECS cluster. And there's one ECS ASG cluster here. That's also registered to the same ECS cluster. We can see the ECS cluster by clicking on the ECS console, go into development, and then when you click on the ECS instances tab, you can see the same EC2 instances right here. The two instances on the bottom are the ECS spot instances, and the instance on top is the ECS ASG instance. You can just find that by looking at the instance IDs. Okay, so right now there are two running ECS tasks on the ECS spot instances here. What we're going to do is we're going to drain these tasks off of the ECS spot instances so we can do some maintenance work. We're going to pretend we're going to do some maintenance work in there. And then we're going to have them move over to the on-demand fleet, okay? So the maintenance work, it's the good example of this is, let's say you're upgrading AMIs or you're updating like new infrastructure code. This allows you to kind of spin up new clusters, then drain off containers off the current cluster, move it over to another cluster, kind of do some testing, and then when you're ready, clean up the old cluster and move everything over a new cluster. So that's the purpose of this tool, or that's one of the uses of this tool. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into now the demo. So one way to kind of use the tool is just the ecs-tank list command, and you specify the cluster as an argument there. So you can see all the same IDs, container IDs, and instances here. Now we're going to drain it now. We're going to drain ecs-tank drain, and we're going to provide it with a spot fleet. So to get the spot fleet, you go into EC2 here. You go to spot request. And here, I'm going to grab the spot fleet request now, ID. Paste in there, and then I'm going to specify development. It defaults to development, but if you have a different cluster, then you have to specify it. And then what happened was it set all the instances associated with the spot fleet to draining, and you can verify with the list command. So you see they're draining there. We can also go to the ECS console and verify it by clicking on the ECS instances tab, and you can see it's draining right now. So what's going to happen is ECS is going to start two new containers here on other available instances, and this is going to be an available instance. And ECS is not going to just simply kill these tasks first. It's going to try to start these tasks here, wait until it's up and running, wait till it's stabilized, and then start to kill these Docker containers. So it's pretty nice about it. And it does take a little time, so I'm going to pause so y'all don't have to wait. To briefly show you that there are two tasks now running on the on-demand instance, and the other tasks are still running because it hasn't finished stabilizing yet. So it's just going to take a little more time, a couple more seconds, but again, I'm going to pause so you don't have to wait. Okay, so the draining has completed. You see how there's two running tasks on this instance now, and there's no tasks running on this instance. So that's completely done. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually do the opposite. I'm going to fill it back up by first allowing these containers to be fillable, I guess, by running the fill command. So now if you go here and you refresh, this is show all active. And I'm going to drain it from ASG back to spot. So to do that, we're going to go to the EC2 console and grab the autoscaling group ID. That's right here. So we're going to run the same drain command, except with the autoscaling group ID this time. And it's only find one instance because there's only one instance in this fleet. And here is the list command. As you can see, that's set at draining. And now it's going to kind of do the opposite. Let's go back to the ECS console. And you're going to see it's doing the same thing. Okay, so eventually that's going to drain and that's going to be moved over and everything. But I just want to show you this tool. This tool is very useful for maintenance work. If you're testing, again, new infrastructure, new AMIs, new code, and you just want to make sure that things are kind of working before you fully roll out, this tool provides you with some control to kind of do some maintenance work here. So it's quite handy. Okay, hopefully you found this video helpful. Cheers.